Chapter 61. Classics of Mysticism. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 61. Classics of Mysticism. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Ever since the binding of the Prodigy system, it remained quiet. Yi Lingchen thought it could only help him raise his proficiencies. He never expected it to give out missions. True to its name as the Prodigy system, the initial system binding was within his class. Now even the sudden mission was also issued within a class. Could it be that the teacher's request earlier activated the mission? Rather than being surprised, Yi Lingchen felt pressured. He only had a month's worth of time. If he failed the mission, then the system will be unbound from him. After enjoying the perks from the system, if he were to be unbound from it, that would be worse than killing him. Furthermore, the rewards were sufficiently tempting too. The ability to upgrade knowledge will be unlocked. 100% proficiency represented the complete mastery of the current world's level in that field of knowledge. If he were to continue upgrading it, would that not mean that his knowledge will exceed Earth's level? In other words, if he unlocked the upper limit of a skill, he could potentially gain knowledge that was beyond this Earth. He had to finish this mission no matter what. At that time, Yi Lingchen's system menu had a new tab for popularity. His current popularity was at 100,556. This should be the popularity he gained from gaming and TV series. Following that was class time. The teacher explained how to produce memorable quotes and works of classics based on idioms and famous works. Received guidance from Zhu Xia, Literature Proficiency +1. Received guidance from Zhu Xia, Literature Proficiency +1. Received guidance from Zhu Xia, Literature Proficiency +1. Yi Lingchen planned to read up on those classic works while he was listening to the lecture. He needed to boost his literature proficiency as soon as possible. After the first session of class, the second session was additional mathematics. Yi Lingchen's proficiency that was stuck at 60% once again started rising. The afternoon was free of classes. University life was just relaxing. Yi Lingchen declined the invitation to game in his dorm, then headed out of school. At that point, his head was only filled with the mission. 1 month's time was fairly short. To an ordinary person, it was impossible to obtain 100,000 popularity in such a short time. However, Yi Lingchen acted in Legend of the Heroine with Xiao Feifei. Despite the popularity of the show, his popularity had barely reached 100,000. Most importantly, Yi Lingchen had to create a literary classic to obtain popularity. Popularity gained from acting and gaming was useless for this matter. A literary classic. Even if he managed to come up with it, he still had to go through publication. After publishing, it would still take time to grow. How can he gain 100,000 popularity in such a short time? Yi Lingchen went to a bookstore nearby the campus first, going through the hottest literary works on the market. Fantasy novels, urban novels, romance novels, Gua Jingming, Han Han, flipping through them quickly. Although these could garner popularity, it was considered literary fast food, not even anything close to literary classics. To be considered a classic, it had to be supported by a strong foundation. It must be based upon reality, yet exceed reality. Moreover, it had to make a strong impression. Amidst his mutterings, his gaze paused as he saw a thick and black book. On the spine was written in gold bolded characters: Secrets of Feng Shui. Yi Lingchen's eyes glowed as a potential solution started forming in his mind. Mysticism was something people followed fanatically since ancient times. It even formed various myths of ancient gods. Even in the current society, there were many believers of destiny, and praying to Buddha. Altering one's fate with Feng Shui and determining your prospects through fortune-telling was all the more popular. This can be considered a traditional heritage passed down from ancient Chinese culture. Regardless of it being superstitious or dealing with spiritual beings, for it to be passed down generations and widely accepted by the populace, it surely had its reasons. If he were to base his literary work on mysticism, then it should be considered a classical work, right? Furthermore, a literary work dealing with mysticism should have no troubles when it comes to gaining popularity. Just do it. Yi Lingchen not only grabbed some books related to mysticism, but he also took a few books of the most popular horror novels home where he studied them intensively. Mysticism. It originated over 4,600 years ago. That was after Pangu split the world and Nuwa created mankind. Chiyu wreaked havoc. With the help of God, the Yellow Emperor received the heavenly tome to subdue Chiyu's demonic arts. With that, he slew Chiyu and conquered all under the heavens. God was referring to the mysterious Lady of the Nine Heavens, Lady Nuwa. After the Yellow Emperor quelled the war, he appointed Sangjia to create the written words and recorded the various mysteries from the heavenly tome bestowed by the mysterious Lady of the Nine Heavens. That book was the soul of mysticism. The Jade Script. Later on, this book was found by Jiang Zia in the Kunlun Mountains during the Zhou dynasty. He used the powers from the scriptures to assist the Zhou kingdom in annihilating his enemies, leading to the Zhou dynasty remaining in power for 800 years. During the period of the Warring States, it fell into the hands of Giguzi, ancestor Wang Chan. He then passed the secret arts to his disciples, Su Qin, Zhang Yi, Sun Bin, and Pang Wan. Each of his disciples defined an era during their times. During the Han dynasty, Zhang Liang obtained the scriptures from Huang Shigong, bringing prosperity to the Han dynasty for 400 years. By the times of the Three Kingdoms, it fell into the hands of Zhuge Liang, helping Liu Bei gaining 1/3 of the world. Unfortunately, most of the contents of the Jade Script had been lost over time. The contents were also split into many sections. To date, it could be roughly separated to mountain, medical, destiny, fortune, and palm sections. Generalized as the 5 schools of mysticism, the Jade Script was clearly not in Yi Lingchen's possession. He was only reading up on books regarding feng shui, fortune-telling, spirits. Studying secrets of feng shui observation proficiency +1, Studying secrets of feng shui observation proficiency +1, Studying physiognomy reading, fortune-telling proficiency +1. For an entire afternoon, Yi Lingchen's understanding of mysticism skyrocketed. What was impossible to understand for an ordinary person was now peanuts to him. The beginnings of a plan started forming within his mind. As the skies darkened, Yi Lingchen returned to the dormitory. He planned to use the entire night to polish his plan, getting it ready for publication the next day. After all, time was limited. The earlier he published it, the quicker his popularity would grow. The next day, he only had 2 sessions of class in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. During that time, Yi Lingchen had finalized the main theme and sub-themes. After his afternoon class, Yi Lingchen headed out of school straight away. He wanted to publish his work as soon as possible. Hold it right there. Unexpectedly, he was stopped by a young man at the school entrance. This young man had a height of 185 centimeters, wearing a white T-shirt and sported a buzz cut. His face was one of insolence and pride. Yi Lingchen furrowed his brows, his gaze looked past the young man and fell upon 2 girls standing behind him. A hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. "You're here for me." Of the 2 girls behind the young man, one of them was wearing a white dress with frills. She was tall and had a proud expression on her face. It was Li Muxue, which Yi Lingchen had kissed before. Chapter 62. Maniac Chu, Huang Xiaoming. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 62. Maniac Chu, Huang Xiaoming. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Next to Li Muxue was another girl. She was not tall, wore casual sportswear, and her face was covered in such heavy makeup that one would not recognize her original appearance. Her wavy hair was dyed, giving off the impression she was a gangster girl. Although her body was more towards the lowly type, her bust was surprisingly mind-blowing. Humph. You ruined Sister Mushue's name. I, Huang Xiaomeng, am here today to seek justice. Huang Xiaomeng sternly lectured Yi Lingchen, standing with one arm akimbo while the other pointed straight at him. Then did you know how much trouble Li Muxue caused me with what she said, retorted Yi Lingchen with an icy stare. If not for Li Muxue, He Yuan would not have picked on Yi Lingchen and caused all that troublesome ruckus. To that end, Yi Lingchen was almost shot by Sun Wei, who was trying to kill him. Li Muxue bit her lips. She naturally knew what had happened to Yi Lingchen during martial training had something to do with her. Her eyes carried an apologetic look as she tugged at Huang Xiaomeng. Xiaomeng, let's just leave it. No way. You're my woman and your innocence is being sullied. I have to avenge you. Huang Xiaomeng glared at Yi Lingchen. Maniac Chu, if you rough him up, I'll agree to be your girlfriend. Huang Xiaomeng was surprisingly adamant. Her actions managed to cause a slight change to Yi Lingchen's expression. The first half of her conversation managed to turn Li Muxue scarlet all the way down to her neck. The latter half caused Yi Lingchen to gasp. He looked at Maniac Chu at the front, then shifted his gaze to Huang Xiaomeng. The guy's appearance was decent, especially that masculinity shone on his face. However, what caused him to be into a gangster girl like Huang Xiaomeng? Brother, your taste is really something. Yi Lingchen waved, you and I bear no grudges against each other. I won't fight you. Just go away. Maniac Chu scowled. He had ruminated on these tough guy lines for some time, planning to use them on Yi Lingchen. However, he did not expect Yi Lingchen to be the one to use it on him, causing some grief in his heart. At that time, a lot of students had already noticed the situation and started gathering around them. Oh my God, is that Maniac Chu the battle maniac? F***CK. Why is he here? Is he here to court Huang Xiaomeng again? Who's that guy over there? Did he cross Huang Xiaomeng? He's definitely getting a beating from Maniac Chu now. I heard someone crossed Huang Xiaomeng last time and was hospitalized after a beating from Maniac Chu. Listening to the discussions around him, Maniac Chu's mood improved. I'm Maniac Chu from Capital City Sports School. I was accepted into the Warriors department for training due to my exceptional talents in combat. Maniac Chu's face was full of pride. It's not an exaggeration to say that no one in your university can take me for one round. After the build-up, he could finally show his swag. We have no grudges against each other. If you sincerely apologize to Li Muxue, I, Maniac Chu, will spare you. Yi Lingchen threw a weird look at Maniac Chu. No wonder this guy's aura felt similar to that of a martial artist. He shook his head, then said calmly, you're no match for me. Just leave. Damn. Such bravado. This is the first time I'm seeing someone speaking to Maniac Chu in that tone. This is crazy. This guy must be a new student, right? A newborn calf sure is fearless. Are all the freshmen this year so headstrong? I heard that just some time ago some ruthless dude challenged a martial training instructor. Maniac Chu was laughing at Yi Lingchen's words. Heh, I'm afraid you don't know how much trouble you're in. My apologies. With that said, his huge body rushed towards Yi Lingchen. He extended both arms and grabbed at Yi Lingchen's shoulders. He had a confident smile on his face, as though his opponent was some defenseless kitten or puppy, attacking half-heartedly. Yi Lingchen remained calm, standing still on the spot. Just as Maniac Chu's hand was almost touching Yi Lingchen, he lowered his body and extended his leg, sweeping towards Maniac Chu. Boom! Maniac Chu's body fell to the ground. I've underestimated you. You are a formidable opponent. Maniac Chu jumped up without hesitation, his fighting spirit boiling. When I'm serious, you'll either end up dead or crippled. Be careful now. Right as he finished his statement, his expression cool, he rushed in for an attack. His fist tightened, creating a forceful punch. Yi Lingchen steadied himself, his legs sweeping again. The same posture, without a care, as simple and natural as sweeping the floor. Whoosh! This time, due to Maniac Chu's momentum, his body flew onwards for over 5 meters before hitting the ground. Your lower body is unsteady. All that strength is wasted. Yi Lingchen shook his head, his gaze falling onto Huang Xiaomeng and Li Muxue. What are you looking at? Come at me if you dare. Huang Xiaomeng straightened her body, looking at Yi Lingchen with her head raised. I'm very busy. Don't do this again. Yi Lingchen walked straight past them after leaving the message, heading out of the university. Li Muxue stared at Yi Lingchen's figure, feeling conflicted. She tried multiple times to say something but no words came. Maniac Chu got up from the ground, defeated. The arrogance on his face was replaced by a look of confusion. He looked at Huang Xiaomeng with an expression of disbelief. You had someone of that caliber in your school. Huang Xiaomeng pouted, "Tch, you're just useless. Don't you dare court me before you defeat him. Get away from me." Alright, I understand. I plan to make an application to the Warriors Department to take part in their training. I'll defeat him as soon as I can. Maniac Chu's eyes were filled with fighting spirit. He got on his feet and left quickly. I'm finally rid of him. Sister Muxue, it's just us after this. Huang Xiaomeng let out a breath of relief, looking at Li Muxue excitedly with a hint of infatuation in her eyes. The reason you came here today was to use Yi Lingchen to steer Maniac Chu away, right? Said Li Muxue, slightly unhappy. Hey, it's only 2 stupid men. I originally wanted to avenge you, but that guy is just too good. Oh well, I'll think of something in the future. Let's go. The rest of the students exchanged glances, taking some time before they recovered from their daze. My God, Maniac Chu was defeated so easily. I remember now, that guy was the ruthless person that defeated the martial training instructor. F***ck, it was him. Half a month's passed and he's back. At that time, Yi Lingchen was at an internet cafe. He reserved a private room and masterfully started a live stream. The method of distributing his literature was through live streaming. Writing a novel was viable, but the time it takes to have an effect was too slow, incomparable to the convenience of live streaming. Beep beep beep. Right as he got online, Cold sent a message to Yi Lingchen. Why? God, you're finally online. How are you? Down to game. I'll pass. I'm preparing to stream something else. Stream something else. Please don't. Your gaming skills are top of the line, with many guides using your clips as reference material. If you continue to stream games, you'll definitely be a legend. I've made up my mind. As for games, let's leave that for some other time. Yi Lingchen had no other choice. To be honest, gaming was nothing to him. It was lacking in challenge, failing to pique his interest. Then what are you planning to stream? Cold asked out of curiosity. Storytelling. Storytelling. Cold was dumbstruck. That was just looking for trouble. Why? God, listen to me, please don't be rash. It's very difficult to make something out of a live stream. Your popularity in gaming has just recently gone up. Please act with caution. Cold tried her best to advise him. What about? We meet up in person. Let's talk about it first. Thank you for your concern, but there's no need for it. I'm getting ready to start the stream now. Chapter 63. Live stream, story time. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 63. Live stream, story time. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation, fine. Since you've made your decision, I'll help you with some shout-outs, Cold responded. Thank you. Yi Lingchen replied sincerely. Even though he had not met Cold in person, they still communicated on WeChat quite often. Occasionally, Cold would remind him about the decline of the streaming platform and to earn as much as he could quickly. He could feel that Cold was concerned about him most of the time. In another streaming studio, Cold scowled, sighing deep inside. If the storytelling fails, I hope you can turn around quickly. Following that, she looked toward the camera, smiling, I have good news for everyone. Y.God is online. If you want to watch his stream you better be quick. What? Y.God is online. Let's go watch. Hostess, you really love him eh? Willingly sending your fans to Y.God. Hostess, why aren't you gaming with Y.God? As Yi Lingchen started his stream, the number of viewers for his stream continually rose. Even though he had not come online for over half a month, he had almost 3,000 viewers. He set his camera brightness to the lowest setting, then turned off the lights in the entire room. On the screen, apart from the darkness, one can only vaguely make out the silhouette of a person. What are you doing, host? Dressing up as a ghost. Isn't Y.God a gamer? Did he change the channel genre? F***CK. Is he looking for trouble? I'll unfollow if he's not gaming. Same as above. If I don't unfollow, I'll eat 3 pounds of poop. Hello everyone. I believe many of you have felt it. That's right. Today I'm not streaming my gameplay. Instead, I've prepared a novel for you. The novel's title is Grave Robbers Chronicles. Yi Lingchen had read Acting 101, learned language and literature, and occasionally studied the art of communicating. All in all, he was more than qualified as a host. His tone was neither rushed nor slow, it was comfortable to the ears. Even though many viewers were prepared to leave, they stayed back momentarily. Grave Robbers Chronicles. What the heck is that? It was never heard of. It was not some diary, right? The name sounds rather interesting. Hidden in the darkness, Yi Lingchen took a deep breath, then started immediately in a low voice. 50 years ago, a group of grave robbers in Changsha found a volume of silk text from the Warring States period. Within the damaged text recorded the location of a unique ancient tomb. However, that group of grave robbers encountered paranormal incidents underground and almost all of them lost their lives. Yi Lingchen's voice was extremely calm, narrating the story slowly. 50 years later, one of the grave robbers' grandchildren found out about this secret from his ancestor's diary. He hired a group of experienced grave robbers to seek this treasure. Unfortunately, nobody expected this ancient tomb to contain that many paranormal phenomena. 7 mysterious coffins, green-eyed fox, 9-headed snake plant. A heavy oppressive atmosphere immediately filled the room. Grave Robbers Chronicles. Its main content was about grave robbing. Within it was mixed with some paranormal themes. That was a novel Yi Lingchen composed by compiling the most popular horror story mixed with elements from Secrets of Feng Shui. Within the stream, Yi Lingchen continued his story. His pace was moderate. As this novel was his original work, it was very easy for him to bring out the proper atmosphere. Chapter 1, Bloody Corpse. 50 years ago, Biao Xiling of Changsha. 4 grave robbers crouched around a dirt mound. Everyone was silent, staring straight at the Luoyang shovel. The head of the shovel carried the freshly excavated dirt from the ground. Oddly, this ring of dirt was continually oozing out some bright red liquid, as though it had been soaking in blood. The entire stream turned silent. Everyone was unconsciously immersed in the story along with Yi Lingchen's voice. Little Ming was originally a die-hard fan of Yi Lingchen's gaming. When he found out that Yi Lingchen was not streaming a game, he almost broke out cursing. Nonetheless, he was unwilling to leave the stream just yet, resulting in him staying back. However, that stay lasted for 2 hours. The story was too captivating. His entire person had seemingly followed Yi Lingchen in the grave robbing process, leaving him wanting to know what happened next. When Yi Lingchen narrated about the canal turning into a river in the cave with greenish rotting corpses on either bank, little Ming involuntarily shivered and tensed his neck. He felt the entire room's atmosphere turned gloomy all of a sudden. There were many going through similar experiences. Along with Yi Lingchen's screen of total darkness, it exaggerated that feeling greatly. In front of their screens, everyone unconsciously held their breath. In the water's reflection, some unknown thing was climbing on my back. Just as I wanted to shout, I could not hold back the urge to look around, then I felt a heavy blow to the back of my head, blacking out. The story was full of suspense at that point. Everyone's heart tightened together at that moment. Very quickly, the number of viewers reached 5,000. All those that joined Yi Lingchen's stream never left. The rate of loss was 0. Surprisingly, there were few comments. Everyone was deeply entranced by the story, with only some people sending the occasional 1 or 2 messages. Grave robbing. Damn, that's exciting. Host, you are amazing. I love horror stories. This is an original write. I'm getting goosebumps from listening, yet I want more. F***CK. Comment above, didn't you want to unfollow? Are you ready to eat poop? This is the work of a genius. To be able to hear this story, I think I've reached the climax of my life. At the same time, someone finally arrived at Cold Stream. OMG. Everyone, Y.God stream must not be missed. I'll leave it at that. I need to rush back. I'm sacrificing these few precious seconds to bring you news because we're old comrades. Y.God's story is F***king amazing. Thank you Cold for shouting out Y.God stream. I'm going back for the story. What the heck? Are these people nuts? Where did these dumb C's come from? Are they here to start a fight? Scram. Guys, calm down. I'll go check it out and be back. Most of them were unable to curb their curiosity and went to Y.God stream. However, once they went there, none returned. Cold too had noticed this. She was worried that Y.God would screw up. By chance, she had just finished a game. After a moment's hesitation, she chose to join Y.God stream, at the same time advertise for Yi Lingchen. Since everyone is curious, why not we all go to Y.God stream and have a look? Having said that, she transferred her own stream to Y.God's channel. Visit website freewebnovel.com. When she saw the black screen, she frowned slightly. However, upon hearing Yi Lingchen's low voice, her mood picked up immediately. By then, the story had reached the ancient tomb. Yi Lingchen spoke tirelessly. We climbed upwards and saw a headless corpse within the cauldron. Its clothes had rotted away, and the dried corpse was wearing some jade jewelry. Hansi didn't hold back, taking them off and putting them onto his hand. In an instant, Cold stream that was filled with messages turned silent. Even Cold stopped talking. Chapter 64. Song Qian, Giving Money. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 64. Song Qian, Giving Money. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Although Cold Stream along with Yi Lingchen's stream had a total of over 100,000 live viewers, the chat was strangely quiet. In front of their screens, some of the viewers were still holding their breath. The atmosphere was as if demons would rush out at them the moment they spoke a word. The language used for the story was descriptive. Along with Yi Lingchen's tone, it quickly pulled the viewers into the mood. The moment she moved to Yi Lingchen's stream, the thought of leaving never crossed Cold's mind. As for those within her stream, none had any objections as they all wanted to continue listening. At the same time, within Huyu's streaming headquarters, a group of people sat behind the desk, watching the number of viewers in Yi Lingchen's stream grow. They were all in shock. Bang! The next moment, a middle-aged man rushed into the room, gasping. He was the vice president-cum director of Huyu Streaming, Song Qian. The streaming platform naturally required supervision and operations, which fell under his charge. Upon entering, he shouted at the crew behind the scenes, "What the heck are you doing? What's the deal with 12 **** stream?" Director Song, "We're currently focused on the statistics of this stream as well," someone answered. "The numbers are rising, but nobody is commenting, nor are they sending rewards. Most of all, they all stayed." Song Qian sneered, "Do we need to even look into this? It's obviously a bot buyer. Ban him straight away." Coincidentally, one of the back-end crew pulled the stream out for display. The darkness on the screen caused everyone to frown. Just as someone was about to ban the stream, they heard Yi Lingqian's voice drifting towards them. Everybody, including Song Qian, was caught off guard. "Wait a moment." Song Qian immediately shouted for them to stop. The moderately paced voice seemed to be strangely alluring, instantly grabbing everyone's attention. Once they stayed for over 3 seconds in the stream, they lost the will to leave. The entire crew of Huyu quietened down. That dark screen with a vague silhouette had a unique charm, as though it was in a different world, the strange world of grave robbing. "Dear friends, the stream will end here today. The schedule for the next stream will be between 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. You're welcome to tune in tomorrow. Thank you everyone." At last, everyone started waking up from their dream state along with Yi Lingqian's last sentence. "Host, you've just started the story and you're ending already. Bro, is your brain working? The host has been speaking for 2 hours already. This story is awesome. Please tell us more. I'll reward you with a cruise ship, you're a rich man, huh? If that's the case, I'll send you 2 cruise ships. Anyone queuing up below? I hope it gets more interesting. I'll send 3. Fetch host. If that's the case, I'll play along. 4. The noisy stream once again went quiet, but this time, it was due to shock. Before this everyone had only focused on the story and forgot about the rewards. Up until that moment, the uproar started. Endless rewards swept across the screen, causing the viewers to hold their breath, their eyes filled with jealousy. That was money, real live money. A cruise ship required 18,000 Huyu coins, the equivalent of 1,800 renminbi. In such a short time, Yi Lingqian's total rewards exceeded 30,000 renminbi. He immediately entered the top 20 list for rewards received, and placed second for speed of rewards gain. As for the first, that was Cold. Cold felt very awkward, blushing as she tried to explain to the viewers. "Guys, you should stop it with the rewards. This is God's story. I'm just redirecting his stream. If you want to send gifts, please go to God's stream. Stop, I've done nothing. Please stop." Director Song, "Are we still banning this stream?" asked one of the crew. "Ban your sister. Whoever that bans this stream will have to answer to me." Song Qian almost jumped out of his seat. "Quick, contact the stream's host." "Never mind, I'll contact him myself." Yi Lingqian received a message from Cold just as he logged out of the stream. God, I'm sorry. My stream was showing your channel. Many viewers were sending in rewards because of you. I'll sort it out and transfer them to you. It's fine. I still have to thank you for helping me boost my popularity." Yi Lingqian replied with a smile. His stream had only 8,000 viewers. Nonetheless, the system showed that Grave Robbers Chronicles managed to gain a popularity of 20,000. It was obvious that Cold played an important role in this. As for how his popularity was calculated, Yi Lingqian had no idea. Logically, Cold's stream had 100,000 viewers. Why was his popularity only at 20,000? Were there 80,000 unsatisfied viewers? Could it be that the viewers had to reach the level of die-hard fans before they were counted? More or less 60,000 renminbi. Considering the platform's cut, the remainder should be 36,000 renminbi. I'll transfer that to you. Cold continued. It's fine. I don't need the money. Yi Lingchen put on a rich man's air. I'll take it as you looking down on me if you transfer that money over. I'll get angry. His treatment for grandfather Lin, along with the TV series, had already netted him a total of 21,400,000 renminbi. At this point, he could be considered a rich man. He truly was not in need of money. This. All right then. If you ever need money, just let me know. Cold replied after some hesitation. A moment later, Cold sent over another message. God, I didn't expect your storytelling to be so interesting. I was fully immersed in it. Congratulations, you've struck gold. It was just luck. Right at that moment, Yi Lingchen's stream buzzed, indicating a message from the system. After a quick goodbye with Cold, Yi Lingchen opened the message. Hello, I am Song Qian, the vice president of Huyu Streaming. Your stream content had gained our attention. Will you be free to have a chat over the phone? Song Qian, giving money this name is really epic. Yi Lingchen mumbled for some time before sending his number over. Ring, the next instant, his phone rang. The other party was very anxious. Hello, is this God? Yes, it is. Hello Director Song. God, we have heard your story. The contents are very attractive. Can I know if you have thought out the future plots of the story? Do you have an outline ready? Song Qian asked. I haven't had an outline yet, but I can guarantee that the future plot will be more interesting. The other side of the phone went quiet for some time. Song Qian gritted his teeth. All right. I'll believe you. I can make the decision right now to raise your contract benefits to a 70/30ths cut. You get 70 and the platform gets 30. Additionally, during your streaming period, I can give you a free recommendation on the main page. However, I have one condition. Yi Lingchen's eyes were gleaming. He very much needed the popularity at that time. Song Qian's action was the help he sorely needed. True to his name, he's giving me money. Yi Lingchen queried, what condition? Since you've published Grave Robbers Chronicles on our platform, we will be adding a condition on your contract. The copyright of Grave Robbers Chronicles will be company owned by us. 50/50ths. Chapter 65. Live Stream, Round 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 65. Live Stream, Round 2. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Song Qian delivered the message in one breath, then waited quietly for Yi Lingchen's reply. He was extremely anxious. As the vice president-cum director of Huyu, he naturally had an eye for such talents. After listening to Grave Robbers Chronicles, his first impression was that the novel would definitely be a hit. A super mega hit. Because of that, while others were still immersed in the novel, he had already thought of the most important thing, copyright. Now that the platform's performance was affected by TikTok, things are not looking good. They desperately needed something eye-catching to gain popularity. If Grave Robbers Chronicles turned out to be as good as Yi Lingchen claimed, that it will get more interesting later, he was willing to take a gamble. Of course. Song Qian did not wait long before Yi Lingchen calmly replied. You're very straightforward. I'll draft up the contract as soon as possible. Song Qian let out a breath of relief. Huyu's comeback depended on this. Back in the dorm. The entire male dorm was lit up, extremely lively. Everyone was excitedly discussing something. Yi Lingchen perked his ears to eavesdrop. King amazing. I never expected a horror story to be told like that. God is amazing. At first, I was there to watch him gaming, but I ended up listening to him telling a story for 2 hours. Who wasn't? Who would have thought that not only were his gaming skills great, but his storytelling was equally as epic? Stop your bullshit. Just the thought of future storytelling sessions from Y.God is making me tremble with excitement. Ah! Such torture. Why can't he finish it in one go? I want to know what's in the coffin. F***CK class monitor, you curve wrecker. Weren't you supposed to be studying? Sigh, don't remind me. I was on the way back and listened to a portion of Y.God's stream, after which I ran home in a hurry to watch it myself. Along the way, all the students were discussing excitedly. Yi Lingchen's lips involuntarily curved into a smile. He wanted to keep a low profile, but his capabilities did not allow it. This feeling of calm swag as everyone discussed his work gave Yi Lingchen a feeling of being the only clear-headed person in the world. It was extremely satisfying. Back in his dorm, his 3 roommates' faces were glowing with uncontrollable excitement. Yi Zi, where were you? Do you know what you missed? Grave Robbers Chronicles. Potato rushed forward as he spoke. Little Jen chimed along, never before and never after. A god.tier first.rate book. It's just 2F** king amazing. Yi Lingchen rubbed his nose, smiling, where's Xiang? Haha, he's shaking in fear on the bed. Be careful when you approach. Don't scare him any further, Potato laughed. Xiang slept under Yi Lingchen's bunk. When Yi Lingchen approached, Xiang had his head wrapped in his blanket, quivering in horror. Yi Lingchen smiled at the sight, then climbed onto his bed and finally opened the system's mission tab. Trial mission. Complete a classic work within a month. Gather 100,000 popularity. Mission completion. 19,329/100,000 foot. He still needed more or less 80,000 popularity. At the current rate of progress, it should be done in less than a month. However, Yi Lingchen also knew that popularity will be harder to acquire later on. He can only hope that Huyu's main page recommendation worked. The next day, Yi Lingchen completed his class as usual, then headed to the internet cafe again. The live stream session was from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., but he needed to arrive a little earlier. Near the campus town, internet cafes were always full of people. Yi Lingchen had to compete for the private room. That would not work in the long run, making the live stream in his dorm was also unrealistic. It would seem that he needed to find a house soon. Capital cities' housing prices may be expensive, but he was loaded. He should be able to afford one. While Yi Lingchen was lost in thoughts, the internet cafe finally had an empty private room. Entering the room, he then shut the door and lights. Proficiently setting up his live stream. Hello everyone. This is Y.God stream. Grave Robbers Chronicles will resume from where we left off. Y.God is finally online. I've waited for over an hour, the story is finally starting. Cut the nonsense, let me calm myself with this cruise ship. The host has a wonderful voice. I have a tiny whittle request. Can you reveal your face? In an instant, the number of viewers in Yi Lingchen's stream exceeded 10,000 people and the numbers were still growing. At the same time, Huyu's main page had displayed the Grave Robbers Chronicles banner in large font at the top of the other popular banners. Little Yu was a host that focused on the horror theme. His hobby was to share and discuss horror themes and stories with others. He would frequently share interesting horror novels. He was habitually going on Huyu streaming, ready to kill some time. However, the pitch-black banner located on the top of the streaming platform page caught his attention. This is a scary, horrifying, and foreign world. Welcome to Grave Robbers Chronicles. Grave Robbers Chronicles. This name is very succinct. Is it about grave robbing? Is grave robbing that scary? Is there anything special? Since it's about graves, perhaps it had something to do with evil spirits. Little Yu joined the stream out of curiosity. Yi Lingqian's low throaty voice came from the pitch-black screen. We have gathered around. I saw the armor he wore on his body. It was the last coffin. The official name for it was the gold-threaded jade armor. However, for some unknown reason, the jade pieces had all turned black. As I stepped closer, I was dumbstruck. I could see the chest of the corpse rising and falling as though it was still breathing. The breathing sound suddenly became obvious. I could almost see the vapor coming out from his nose. Big Kuei's mouth was agape with fear, shouting. This thing is still F*King alive. The strange corpse immediately sent chills down Little Yu's spine, immersing him further into the story. Following that, one after another, scenes of horror played out. Strange occurrences happened one by one, putting all the listeners into a fearful trance. Including Little Yu. Now this is a true horror story. Compared to those cliché stories of ghosts hitting the wall, blinded by ghosts, or being sat on by a ghost, this was the real deal. This had broken away from the childish ghost stories. The entire scene was grand and grim, full of plot twists, while the demons were also unexpectedly scary. Altogether, that made this an impressive novel. Little Yu's heart was pounding hard, he felt both scared and excited at the same time. He had suddenly realized that all those horror stories he had read before were trash. Little Yu's eyes were red, as though he had seen a light source after walking alone in the dark. This was the thing he had been looking for all the while. Today's story will end here. If you liked it, you can follow me by clicking the button on the top right corner. Tomorrow, same time, Grave Robbers Chronicles Chapter 3. That's it. I won't be sleeping tonight again. Same here. If I don't finish the horror story in one go, I'll feel uneasy. The suspense is killing me. F***ck. 2 hours passed already. Was it that short? Host, please tell us more, I'll send you cruise ships and rockets. Chapter 66. Why? God's live stream statistics. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 66. Why? God's live stream statistics. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Countless viewers begged for him to continue the story. Little Yu was also commenting like a madman. He wanted to continue listening. In fact, he was willing to spend 3 days and nights without rest just to listen to the full story. However, Yi Lingqian merely greeted them and turned off the stream. That's right, I can go watch yesterday's stream replay. Little Yu's heart pounded like a child that discovered a new toy. He impatiently opened Yi Lingqian's stream from the previous day. Meanwhile, at Huyu headquarters. Song Qian, what's the meaning of this? Why did you remove the thing I planned for the main page? Asked a girl with both her hands on the table, her body leaning forward. She was wearing office wear, sported short hair, and wore a pair of black dot-rimmed glasses. She looked like a pro. Her name was Zhou Min and she was in charge of live stream operations. Song Qian adjusted his glasses, then calmly answered, I feel that Y. God has bigger potential than you. You feel? Zhou Min sneered, since when did our company run on feelings? The live streaming business is not faring well right now. If you continue meddling like this, we're all going down together. Yu's potential isn't bad. She can sing, dance, and has an impeccable figure. We're already heavily invested in her. Now you're simply removing her front page recommendation because of an outsider. Standing behind Zhou Min was a girl in a light blue dress. Although it was only a dress in name, being made of a thin layer of tulle. Her snow-white skin vaguely showed through the fabric, and her long slender legs were fully exposed, leaving much to the imagination. Director Song, did Yu offend you in any way? If you have any requests, please ask away, Yu asked gently. She was undeniably very special. Her voice was soft and gentle with a round face, big eyes and long eyelashes, a typical beauty. Definitely a superweapon when it came to conquering the hearts of otakus. Nonetheless, Song Qian shook his head and explained slowly, the current live streaming business is unlike before. If we want a breakthrough, we have to discover a new route. Sex appeal can't hold the fort forever. Hold the fort. Zhou Min was laughing, depending on that horror storyteller. Ever since the establishment of the country, animals have stopped becoming demons. All these spiritual talks are just bullshit. Superstition in our government is illegal. With the two bosses of the company in a dispute, the surrounding people were all shaking in fear. They kept quiet while their heads lowered. Song Qian ignored Zhou Min, but instead asked another worker, Little Zhang, go check with the crew if the statistics are out yet. That person quickly shot off like an arrow. Statistics. Hee, I'd want to see what kind of capabilities this stranger of yours has. The lady laughed in a shrill voice. Soon, Little Zhang came back with a report. Director Song, this is the efficacy of the front page recommendation of Y.God. Gasp. He flipped through the report, involuntarily taking a deep breath, a look of surprise on his face. Are you sure this report is accurate? Song Qian asked. Absolutely. These are the results after each department's calculations, Little Zhang nodded. What's wrong? Could it be that the results are so bad it gave you a scare, said the lady. You'll know soon enough. Song Qian did not pass her the report but instead turned to Little Zhang. Little Zhang, show this data to everyone in case some people feel unconvinced, Song Qian said calmly, the corner of his mouth curled upwards. That kid sure didn't let me down. A recommendation banner on the main page, that was the strongest recommendation in Huyu. Normally, only those God.tier hosts had a chance of getting such a recommendation. Nevertheless, Yi Lingchen had seemingly appeared out of nowhere. To have a random mundane person obtaining this recommendation naturally attracted a lot of discussions. Many were discussing in private, thinking that Song Qian had been bribed and allowed someone to take the back door. Tap, tap, tap. Right at that moment, the office main doors swung apart. An old man with white hair entered. Everybody was surprised, then quickly lowered their heads, as though they were rats seeing a cat. CEO Wang. Song Qian and that lady greeted the old man. Wang Yuan, the CEO of Huyu Streaming. He owned a majority share in the streaming platform, the one whose words mattered the most. Song Qian, I've heard about your situation. You've acted rashly for this recommendation arrangement. Upon entering, Wang Yuan instantly criticized Song Qian. It could be seen how much anger he was suppressing. You're not ignorant about our current situation. A single misstep and you might bring ruin to the platform. To think that you. Wang Yuan may be old, but he was still full of energy. He lectured sternly, never mind, just stop what you're doing and take 2 days off. CEO Wang, the recommendation data was just out. Why don't you hear me out first? Song Qian spoke with a weird expression on his face. Sure, I'd like to hear what you have to say. What kind of trick can you pull off? Wang Yuan found a spot and sat down, waving his hand, go ahead. Little Zhang held on to the report, reading word by word. 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. main page recommendation. The lowest number of online users at 3,000, peak online user count at 20,000. The average number of users online was 13,000. Loss of traffic was at 2,000. Wait a minute. How many was it? Wang Yuan rubbed his ears, thinking he might have misheard. Little Zhang repeated the report. Are you kidding me? Putting the 3,000 to 20,000 gain aside, how could the traffic loss be a mere 2,000? Even a strip dance could not maintain that many viewers. Wang Yuan was in shock. Zhou Min was similarly dazed. She was at the brink of doubting her hearing. She originally thought this unheard of Y.God would create the worst recommendation record, yet it turned out vastly different from her expectations. The results were heaven-defying. She had been in charge of live streaming for so many years, knowing full well how it worked. How could this type of nameless unorthodox stream get such a high view count? Behind her, she was all the more wide-eyed and her mouth was agape. Needless to say, the rest were behaving similarly. The office immediately broke into an uproar. Everyone could not believe their ears. The viewer loss rate was a very important statistic. Only by retaining their viewers can the host attract fans. The lower the rate of loss, the bigger the potential. Nevertheless, Yi Lingchen's rate of loss could be considered negligible. From just 3,000 to 200,000 viewers, with an average online viewership of 130,000 and only losing 2,000 viewers. Any of the statistics here would seem like a joke. No matter the show, they each have their target audiences. Some would like it, some would despise it. After all, everyone has different tastes. However, Y.God's statistics proved that his show reached all audiences. Regardless of gender and age, they all loved it. This can only be described as a miracle. Shi Yu's face looked ashen. She was Hu Yu's leading lady. The horror of these statistics was all the more clear to her. Even for herself, if the peak was at 200,000 viewers, it would be an amazing feat to be able to keep the rate of loss around 10,000. After all, nobody would stay just on one tab. With the recommendation having such a heaven-defying effect, that meant future recommendations would be favoring Y.God from now on. Did Grave Robbers Chronicles really have such allure? That was just too amazing. It was as if he was cheating. Chapter 67. On Fire. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 67. On Fire. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. CEO Wang. These statistics had been recalculated 3 times by the crew. It's definitely correct, explained Little Zhang. Seeing Wang Yuan keeping silent, Little Zhang continued, for the duration of the stream, the total rewards received came to a total of 63,252 renminbi and 30 cents. Gasp. In the office, a wave of gasps swept through the crowd. It was rare for some hosts to receive around 60,000 renminbi. However, Y.God was a new host. Other hosts were able to receive large amounts of rewards mainly due to their following of rich fans over the years and them maintaining a good relationship with them. Visit website freewebnovel.com. Y.God having received that much rewards with hardly any fanbase could only mean that his ability to bring in money was beyond compare. Anything else? CEO Wang was compelled to ask, his face red as he glanced at Song Qian who was snickering by the side. Next is. Little Zhang swallowed a mouthful of saliva as the contents shocked him as well. Carefully, he said, after Y.God went offline, his stream content replay reached 120,000 views. What did you say? Wang Yuan's eyes popped open wide, shouting in disbelief as he stood up. Just sometime after Y.God ended his stream content yesterday had 120,000 replays. FF*CK. Even Wang Yuan could not hold back from spewing vulgarities which stunned the crowd. The rest felt a dryness in their mouth, breathing heavily. What did that mean? These people would surely watch Y.God's next live stream. Furthermore, they could be considered as effective fans. With just a single recommendation, it was enough for Y.God to gain at least 120,000 fans. That just challenged everyone's worldview. This is crazy. Zhou Min took a deep breath as she felt her heart quiver. Wang Yuan calmed himself, the anger disappeared from his face. In its place was a smile of pure bliss. Haha, that's right. The reason I came here was to specifically praise Director Song. This Y.God is quite talented. Director Song sure has a good eye for talent, bringing such a talent and wonderful product to our platform. Excellent. Let's applaud him. Clap clap clap. CEO Wang, you just told me to take a 2 days break. Did I? Wang Yuan put on a confused look, then shook his head, definitely not. You must have misheard. I still have some matters to attend to. I better get going now. Keep up the good work. Remember to treat this Y.God well. On the other end, Little Ming had finally finished Y.God stream from the previous day. Grave Robbers Chronicles is amazing. How I hope tomorrow comes soon. Ah, I can't wait. Just the thought of listening to Y.God's Grave Robbers Chronicles made Little Ming feel his blood boil with passion. It filled him with unspeakable excitement. What is happiness? This is happiness. No. I must not enjoy this happiness alone. Such great work must be shared with others. Little Ming turned on Weibo and immediately started typing away, surprise discovery of an epic piece of work, Grave Robbers Chronicles. Truth be told, this is the best horror novel I've come across. I guarantee it with my credibility. With all my years spent on horror novels, this is definitely the best. After watching Grave Robbers Chronicles, I believe this is the hope of Chinese literature. I'll attach 2 links for the video. Go watch it yourself if you want. Even though Little Ming only had 5,000 fans, they were all fans of the paranormal, to the point of being die-hard fans. This Weibo post immediately garnered their attention right after it was posted. Little Ming, have you started to take advertisements? Excuse me, I won't watch all these things that sound too good to be true when advertised because they are most definitely fake. Grave Robbers Chronicles. The name is too mundane. It won't pique people's curiosity. If it can get Little Ming's shout out, I'll give it a try. Many opened Little Ming's link and started watching. The next day, Yi Lingchen jogged along the forest path around campus. He found an empty spot to practice 1 round of Arhat Fist, 8 Extremities Fist and Martial Body Fist. He kept going until he started sweating lightly on his forehead before ending the practice session. Although the Prodigy system allowed him to raise the proficiency of these martial arts to 100%, it could not directly raise his constitution. He could only depend on his own practice to train his constitution. The benefit was that these martial arts moves were exemplary. Hence the effects on raising his constitution were extremely effective. Along with Yi Lingchen's burdens, he could feel his own body strengthening steadily. After breakfast, it was only 8 a.m. There was no class that morning, so Yi Lingchen returned directly to the dorm. To his surprise, the 3 bums in the dorm weren't sleeping, but instead excitedly discussing something with their phones. Y.God is definitely not Y. One of them is in the field of live streaming while the other is in the film industry. How can they be the same? I think so too. Y.God is a storyteller while Y is a fighter. Those are 2 totally different things. If they are the same, how could there be such an epic person in this world? The 3 took turns and each gave their opinions. The corner of Yi Lingchen's eyes twitched as he walked inside. What are you discussing? Yeezy, big news. Little Jen clambered up from his bed and passed his phone to Yi Lingchen, the clash of 2 universal class big shots. Yi Lingchen accepted the phone. The screen was showing Weibo's top search. Most importantly, the first 4 top search was monopolized by 1 English alphabet, Y. Hot search 1. Is Y.God and Y the same person? Hot search 2. The work of the gods, who you host Y. God's Grave Robbers Chronicles. Hot search 3. Y's acting skill is the bomb. King of Fighters. Hot search 4. Why do Y and Y.God both hide their faces? Hot damn. This is some explosive news. The origin of this matter started with a post on Weibo, strongly recommending Grave Robbers Chronicles. along with grave robbers chronicles attracting too much attention. It very quickly garnered the attention of more eyes, pushing this Weibo post onto the hot search list. Nevertheless, with more and more people following this, a lot of them discovered one issue. Grave Robbers Chronicles host was called Y.God. Why, such a familiar alphabet? With that line of thought, damn. Was Y not the actor in Legend of the Heroine? The Lei Feng trend had changed to Y. Because of that, Y was pulled up along the hot search. After that, the entire Weibo was filled with Y and Y.God, starting a fiery discussion. Y.God is definitely Y. They have two similarities. Firstly, they appeared out of the blue at almost the same time, shining brighter than others. Secondly, they both chose to hide their faces. Previous poster is stupid. I am also named Y and I also hide my face. Could I be one of them? Previous poster is even more stupid. Are you above others like them? They are definitely not the same. Different fields, different talents. Furthermore, they don't look old. How talented must one be to reach such levels in different fields with such achievements? I think so too. Don't forget, Y.God's gaming skill is also God.tier. If they are the same person, that is just too much. Chapter 68. Mission complete, skill advancement. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 68. Mission complete, skill advancement. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation with two Ys appearing out of nowhere, Weibo went into an uproar. At first, the discussions on Weibo were still as usual, but as time passed, the tone started to change. The trigger was all due to a single thread. The original post was as follows. Whoever Y is, please go away. I only know Y.God. Grave Robbers Chronicles must go on. Immediately after that, Y's fans were triggered and started flaming Y.God. Y.God's fans naturally retaliated. With that, Y and Y.God's fans started a flame war. Y and Y.God remained up on top, taking up the entirety of Weibo's hot searches. Potato and company were conflicted. Y's martial arts and acting skills, Y.God's Grave Robbers Chronicles and games. All were to their liking. Suddenly, they did not know who to side with. Yi Lingchen laughed bitterly and shook his head. He decided to ignore the situation after taking a glance and focused on his system menu. At that time, Grave Robbers Chronicles had boosted his popularity up to 68,983. Following the current hype, he estimated the mission to be completed that night. Furthermore, Yi Lingchen's total popularity had reached 208,533. It was a shame that the trial mission only took into account popularity from Grave Robbers Chronicles. That popularity coming from Weibo and similar sources did not contribute to the mission at all. Otherwise, the mission would have been completed long ago. However, it was not without benefits. With this, Grave Robbers Chronicles would gain increased exposure, speeding up the popularity gain. After his afternoon classes, Yi Lingchen routinely rushed over to the internet cafe. Upon starting his stream, the number of viewers exceeded 100,000 within a minute. Some of Y's fans were mixed in the crowd. In an instant, messages flooded the screen, almost all of them asking about his relationship with Y. Yi Lingchen muted the messages, making no attempt to reply. His screen was pitch black, hiding his expression from the viewers. Grave Robbers Chronicles Chapter 3 had started. The scary part of the black desert is not the sinking quicksand, nor the gold devourer ants that can devour an entire car, nor the black windstorms. According to legend, there's a magical land deep within. When humans enter, they will see lakes, rivers, beauties, magical beasts, snowy mountains, and an oasis. Those thirsty and weary will naturally rush towards these images of paradise. However, they will die of exhaustion without reaching their destination. Along with Yi Lingqian's opening of the chapter, the ruckus within the stream stopped. Everyone listened in rapt attention. 30 minutes later, Yi Lingqian's stream was listed among the top 10 columns on Huyu's page. The online viewers had exceeded 250,000. I admit my mistake. I didn't expect God's Grave Robbers Chronicles to be this good. Sigh, I was originally here out of curiosity. Now I'm addicted. Oh dear, I'm sorry. God is also amazing. I'm at a loss on who to side with. At the same time, a clear system notification rang within Yi Lingqian's head. Mission work. Grave Robbers Chronicles fulfilled mission requirements. Congratulations on the completion of the trial mission. Prodigy system permanently bound. Skill advancement unlocked. The sound ignited the flame within Yi Lingqian's mind. He desperately wanted to end the live stream right there and have a good look at the new system function he just unlocked. After enduring the rest of the live stream, Yi Lingqian's stream had reached the top spot of Huyu with a total online viewers of almost 400,000. This time, Yi Lingqian did not even bother to entertain his viewers, shutting off his stream the moment it ended. There were hardly any changes to the system menu, only his popularity had reached 287,649. Behind his popularity, there was an extra option. He tried selecting the Advance button, which prompted a simple introduction. Basic advancement. Expend 100,000 popularity points. Random advancement of one skill with 100% proficiency. Intermediate advancement. Expend 1 million popularity points. Random advancement of one basic skill. Advanced advancement. Expend 10 million popularity points. Random advancement of one intermediate skill. After 100% proficiency, the skills could still be raised. To what extent will that advancement be? Yi Lingqian licked his lips, his curiosity burning. With his current popularity points, he could afford 2 advancements. Might as well try it out immediately. He swallowed his saliva nervously, then selected Basic Advancement. He only had 7 skills that achieved 100% proficiency at the moment. Arhat Fist, 8 Extremities Fist, Martial Body Fist, Obstacle Course, Pet Taming, Dota, and English. Begin. A yellow circle scrolled through the 7 skills, finally fixating on Pet Taming. My luck is not as good. How will Pet Taming turn into something else? Yi Lingqian frowned slightly. He specifically read up books on pets because he had 2 wolf pups. In the process, he managed to raise his pet taming proficiency to 100%. After a golden glow, he could see that the pet taming tab changed into Animal Taming, Basic. Basic Animal Taming's proficiency was immediately at 100%. At that moment, knowledge about animals flooded into Yi Lingqian's mind, as though he had known them all along. Damn! Yi Lingqian's pupils dilated, his face flushed with excitement. This skill is F*King crazy. It was as he had expected. After the system's upgrade, the skill had gone beyond the scope of Earth. Animal taming was no longer just training a pet. Not only could it help his pets achieve full obedience, he could even communicate with animals. Basic animal taming allowed him to train his pets as though they were an extension of his limbs. At the same time, it allowed his pets to gain human-like wisdom. With a look, he could communicate his intention to his pets. If that was the case, when this skill reached an intermediate and advanced level, that would allow him to control wild beasts. Yi Lingqian was elated. With a grin, his hands itched. Looking at the system menu, he once again selected Basic Advancement. The yellow circle once again jumped among the skills. With 3 martial arts, the chances of hitting one should be quite high. If his martial arts gets the advancement, he might truly become a superhuman. As for Dota and English, Yi Lingqian had no idea what the upgraded skills would turn into. From now on, he should not learn so many useless skills to avoid them wasting the slots. Finally, the circle of light slowed down bit by bit. Arhat fist. Passed by. Never mind, the next one was 8 extremities fist. F*ck. It even passed by 8 extremities fist. Finally, the circle of light stopped on the obstacle course. With a golden glow, the obstacle course tab turned into parkour, basic. Yi Lingchen left the internet cafe in a hurry. He planned to find a suitable spot to try out this parkour skill. At the moment, it was slightly past 9 p.m. It was late, but the lights were still bright all over the place with lots of pedestrians. Yi Lingchen headed west, going towards a nearby park. 30 minutes later, the area turned more desolate and there were fewer pedestrians. This should do. Should I just try it here? Yi Lingchen looked around. There were several trees and rocks nearby with many slopes and stairs. In the darkness without street lamps, he should give it a try while there was nobody around. Chapter 69. Look, it's Superman. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 69. Look, it's Superman. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation, ah. My bag. Thief. Help. Right at that moment, a high-pitched scream cut through the peaceful night. Viroom. The next instant, a motorcycle was seen speeding past like a spirit in the night. Yoo-hoo. I'm off. Come after me if you can. On the motorcycle, 2 people with helmets were laughing insolently. Someone help catch those thieves. Bike robbers. Very soon, a girl stumbled into his sight, anxiously staring at the motorcycle speeding away. A number of people gathered due to her screams, but they could only look on helplessly at the motorcycle. It was then that a blurry figure zoomed past. The crowd only saw a blur and that figure was already chasing after the motorcycle like the wind. Oh damn! What was that? Superman. The crowd was dumbstruck. Right after that, they saw a black figure dashing at high speed in the dark. The shadowy figure did not follow the road but instead used the paths within the park. Nevertheless, it only took him 1 leap to pass each obstacle he encountered. They even saw him jumping over a tree in just a few steps. From afar, he looked like a monkey, somersaulting through the air while stepping on branches. It really is Superman. This is amazing. I didn't get a clear view earlier to check if he's wearing his undies outside. Viroom. The road was full of turns and filled with potholes. The motorcycle could not go at maximum speed while having to make constant turns, resulting in them not driving at high speed. At that time, the 2 people on the motorcycle were full of themselves. Haha, big brother, this score might be enough to last us a month. More than a month. Just this bag itself is worth more than 10,000 renminbi. The contents should be worth even more. That was really easy. I never expected to get such a big score in this desolate place. The heavens are helping us. This is an effortless score. If we're in the city area, how would we get such a chance? Keep a lookout and see if anyone's chasing us. Relax, they don't even have a car in this area. How could someone? Mid-sentence, he looked around and his eyes almost popped out of its sockets. His body stiffened, nearly falling off the motorcycle. What's wrong? Wait. Wait a minute. I think I might have been seeing things. Rubbing his eyes, he took another look. F*ck. He exclaimed in a shrill voice, at a loss for words. What? What happened? The other person scowled, turning his head around as well. Holy sh*t. The motorcycle shook violently, nearly crashing. What the F*ck is this? Superman. A demon. His voice was trembling while he was flailing around in the wind. Big Big brother, he's flying. Did we just run into a cultivator like those in the legends? Cultivate your head. Big brother quickly calmed himself. No matter what it is, we cannot let him catch us. Turn around and keep an eye on his movements. Yes. The little brother's face was pale, turning around nervously. He witnessed a figure weaving through the park, his legs seemingly covering several meters with every step, effortlessly crossing over rocks, benches, and climbing onto trees and weaving through the bushes. The speed was unbelievably fast. Big brother, this is bad. He's catching up. Catching up. The big brother's heart sank, flooring the gas. Where is he now? Just beside you. What? The big brother turned his head just to see a figure standing tall on a nearby tree. The figure then leaped and with a cool posture, sent a flying kick towards him. F***ck my life for running into Superman on this trip. Both of them fell off the motorcycle simultaneously. They rolled on the floor and passed out immediately. Yi Lingchen inspected them briefly, making sure both of them were not fatally wounded. Only then did he let out a breath of relief. You guys should call the police. These two are bike robbers, Yi Lingchen told the person nearby. Superman. It's Superman. Everyone was in a frenzy, their passionate gazes locked onto Yi Lingchen. Yi Lingchen frowned, then immediately dashed further into the park. Superman, don't go. I want an autograph. Superman, can you tell me your name? Yi Lingchen stopped in his tracks, straightened his body, then turned his sturdy back towards the crowd, speaking slowly, you can call me. Why, the swag is with me. Yi Lingchen's dashing figure was deeply imprinted into the crowd's heart. Immediately someone had uploaded a video online, TikTok, Weibo, or even WeChat Moments. Discovered Superman. His name is also Y. In an instant, the entire internet exploded with activity. F***ck. Is this for real? That's like a fantasy. Wahahaha, our country has hidden talents. To think that we have a Superman. What's the use of that overseas rice nation captain and Iron Man? We have a real Superman. A living one. The video quality is bad. I can only see a black figure. You're saying that's Superman? I'm sorry, I can't believe it. What's with this year? All the talented people are calling themselves Y. All sorts of videos were popping up everywhere. That was already beyond a normal wall run. It was at the level of flying across the floor. Weibo's hot search, TikTok's million likes, and the crazed shares on WeChat Moments. All of them had one thing in common. They did not get Yi Lingchen's appearance. The most they had was that dashing figure of his back. The next day, Yi Lingchen got out of bed early as usual, then took a peek at his popularity score. 137,684, in a single night, his popularity had increased by over 50,000. His lips widened, turning into a big grin. As expected, my name as Y.God will eventually spread throughout the nation. Yi Lingchen rubbed his hands. Since he had over 100,000 popularity, then he should continue advancing his skills. He realized that he had transcended. He no longer lived for money, but for popularity. Arhat fist, 8 extremities fist, martial body fist, Dota, and English. 3 out of 5 were fist techniques. I will get martial arts this time around. Advancement begins. The yellow circle flashed across the skills, causing Yi Lingchen's eyes to lose focus. Dota. Passed. English. Passed. Finally, the yellow circle landed on Arhat fist. Jackpot. Yi Lingchen's heart was pounding. He stared excitedly on the system screen. The next moment, with a golden glow, Arhat fist had turned into Arhat's fist force, basic. The change was not as Yi Lingchen expected. The skill name did not undergo a major change, with only an additional word. The forms had no obvious changes as well, only some additional breathing adjustments during the practice process. As for the difference, he could only find out when practicing. He quickly got off the bed to wash up. Right after that, he hurried to his usual martial arts practice spot. Following the Arhat's fist force practice methods, Yi Lingchen changed his breathing pattern with each of his fists. Sometimes 3 shallow breaths with 1 deep breath, sometimes 9 shallow breaths and 1 deep breath. He did not notice any obvious changes in the first round, but Yi Lingchen did not give up. He went on with the second round, third round. Chapter 70. The Clever Wolf Pups. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 70. The Clever Wolf Pups. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Finally, during the fourth round, Yi Lingchen sensed a wave of qi flowing from his breath into his fist. This wave of qi was strange. It could only be sensed, but not felt physically. When it merged into his fist, it felt warm. As the qi in Yi Lingchen's fists accumulated, his fists were as though they were on fire. They looked red, as though wrapped in flames. The next instant, Yi Lingchen could not hold back any longer. With a roar, he punched outwards. That wave of qi spewed forth like a wave, endlessly gushing forth. Boom! With a loud booming sound, a big rock at least 5 meters away from Yi Lingchen was struck, leaving a groove in it. OMG! Yi Lingchen himself was shocked. That was a punch through the air. If that hit a person, that person would basically be dead. This is F*King epic. Yi Lingchen's heart was trembling. Furthermore, that was only his first time. With further practice, what difference was there between his fist and a bullet? Moreover, this skill was still at a basic level. When it reaches intermediate and advanced levels, he would really be a superhuman. As the earlier commotion he caused was quite noticeable, he quickly calmed himself down and left the area. It was a Saturday. Yi Lingchen finished his breakfast and went back to the dorm for a change, getting ready to go out. That was the day he had arranged for Xiao Feifei's massage. Just recalling the image of that soft body put Yi Lingchen in a daze. Yi Zi, your smile earlier looks very perverted. So F*King creepy. Xiang stated. Spill the beans. Are you going out to do some shameful stuff? Potato immediately started his accusation. Cough cough, I'm very pure. Don't slander me with those dirty thoughts in your heads, Yi Lingchen replied in an honorable tone, then asked curiously, today is a weekend. Why are you guys up this early? Where's little Jen? Little Jen registered for our university basketball competition. He's now at training. University basketball competition. You didn't know. This competition is the one most looked forward to by the entire university. Potato continued his explanation. Every year when class starts, the university will organize a friendly basketball match between the departments to promote the students' relationship. The competing groups are separated by departments. Little Jen is registered under our language department. Capital University had many departments. Psychology, mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, Chinese, etc. Each department will pick students that were good in sports to take part in the competition, from seniors to freshmen. It can be considered a university-wide activity that was rather interesting. Xiang nodded along. We're going over today to watch little Jen's practice and cheer for him. We plan to ask you along. I'll go next time, Yi Lingchen replied with a smile, then bid them goodbye and went off. This time he brought along the 2 wolf pups. Xiao Feifei had specifically requested to see the progress of the pups. After the month-long growth, the wolf pups had grown bigger. Add to that Yi Lingchen's professional care, their fur was sleek and shiny, giving them a vibrant look. Their eyes were fully open, resting in Yi Lingchen's arms, looking at the world around them with their intelligent-looking eyes. Under Yi Lingchen's care, they were not afraid of humans, nor were they noisy. They just obediently peered outwards from Yi Lingchen's embrace. Along the way, it attracted many adoring looks from countless girls. The train forbade animals, so Yi Lingchen had to take the bus. I'm already quite rich. It's about time I get a house and car for myself, Yi Lingchen thought to himself. Taking the bus, he arrived at Jingrui Bay uneventfully. Jingrui Bay, an area for the rich and affluent. Located in the suburbs, it was a quiet, peaceful and comfortable place. Furthermore, the housing prices were not as crazy as those in the city center. L.RG houses in the city center cost 100,000 renminbi per square meter on average, whereas this area only costs around RMB 60,000.70,000 per square meter. Nonetheless, the houses here were all villas. Built with streams, greens, and low population density. Very suitable for residences, which meant quite a number of celebrities lived here. The guards only allowed Yi Lingchen entry after confirming his identity with Xiao Feifei. The entire area was designed to separate vehicle and pedestrian traffic. It was a stone trail path with the occasional breeze. A very comforting place. I want to purchase a villa. Yi Lingchen added an extra budget on his plans to purchase a house. Staying in an apartment was noisy and crowded. He was someone with a system, making it inconvenient at times. A villa would give him more freedom. With his current assets, Jingrui Bay was a little beyond his limit, but he could look for a cheaper spot. Lingchen, over here. Just then, Xiao Feifei's voice could be heard. She stood on a wooden bridge, the breeze flowing through her hair as she waved towards Yi Lingchen. Sister Lin was also by her side. Across the bridge, Xiao Feifei's villa was by the lake. Wow! They are so cute. Xiao Feifei immediately noticed the wolf pups in Yi Lingchen's arms. Her eyes glowing, her gaze melting at the sight of the pups. You're just amazing. How did you manage to take such good care of these wolf pups? She remembered the pups could not even open their eyes back then, probably barely due to being newborns. She was worried they would not survive. Having said that, she immediately reached out to carry the pups. Grr, the once quiet pups instantly let out a low growl, baring their teeth while staring at Xiao Feifei. Feifei, be careful. They are still wolves. Don't touch them. Sister Lin commented as her expression changed. They don't like to be touched by strangers. Yi Lingchen smiled, then gently rubbed the neck of the two wolf pups. Now, she's your mommy. You can't be fierce to her, all right. Mommy. Xiao Feifei's face blushed, stealing a glance at Yi Lingchen. If she was the mommy, then what's Yi Lingchen? Daddy. Jerk, taking advantage of me. Sister Feifei, you can try again. Yi Lingchen did not know of Xiao Feifei's internal dialogues. He passed the pups to Xiao Feifei with a smile. Wah, they stopped growling. Lingchen, how did you train them? Xiao Feifei was astonished. She carried the two furry pups lovingly. The two pups were also very cooperative, continuously showing their affection to Xiao Feifei, licking at Xiao Feifei's palm, causing her to keep chuckling. Hee, I'm a master animal trainer. There's more to come. An urge to show off grew in Yi Lingchen. Place them on the ground. Xiao Feifei complied and placed the pups on the ground. Now watch closely, Yi Lingchen smiled. Little green, lie down, play dead. The green wolf pup immediately laid on the ground, shut its eyes and made no sounds. Little gray, roll over. The other gray wolf pup followed suit and started rolling around on the ground. Sit. Little green and little gray clambered to their feet, then obediently sat straight in front of Yi Lingchen. Wah, Xiao Feifei's mouth was wide open, at a loss for words. Sister Lin too widened her eyes, staring at the two pups in disbelief. This is just unbelievable.